Good day, folks. Thank you for joining us here at Your Health. We have a wonderful program for you today. Two great topics. First off, we're going to discuss coping with celiac disease. Have you ever heard of it? Well, celiac disease is a sensitivity to gluten in your diet. Gluten is found in grains, and it can make you very sick if you have celiac disease. It's far more common than we ever thought, and 97% of the people with this condition, they don't know they have it. But after the news, the first thing we'll do, Cindy will join us with Healthy Cooking with Cindy. She has a great recipe. It's one of my favorites. She calls it Dr. Becker's Beef Stew, and it is gluten-free. But first, let's go to our news. Let's see what's happening in the health world. A new survey from the Consensus Action on Salt and Health reveals a meal from a fast food restaurant could expose children and heart patients to extremely high levels of salt. Even though all the restaurant chains evaluated in the survey state they have recently reduced the salt levels of their foods, the level still exceeded in a typical single meal the total daily salt intake recommended by the American Heart Association, set at 2.3 grams of sodium daily. The survey found a typical family meal from McDonald's provided each family member with 3.28 grams of sodium. A sample meal from Kentucky Fried Chicken contained 5.2 grams, and for a family of four sharing a Pizza Hut meal deal, each family member would ingest 12.3 grams of salt, or over 5 times the daily limit of sodium in a single meal. Isn't this one amazing? And as the report states, these fast food meals are the food chain's new reduced sodium menu items. Folks, health experts state a typical healthy adult should not ingest over 6 grams of salt a day, and kids can ingest up to 3 to 5 grams a day, depending on their age. And if a person has hypertension or a heart condition, their salt intake should not exceed 2.3 grams for the whole day. But these meals from our favorite fast food restaurants exceeded all limits and in a single meal. Now let's get this one right. Salt or sodium is a necessary nutrient. We must have it in our diets, but we don't need very much. And when we ingest more than our bodies can handle, we retain fluid and our blood pressure goes up, putting us at risk for America's #1 killer, cardiovascular disease. Now here's another hypertension-related story. New research from the Harvard School of Public Health reveals women with high blood pressure are more likely to develop diabetes later in life, even if they are not overweight. The team of researchers followed more than 38,000 female health professionals for 10 years, finding women with high blood pressure are 3 times more likely to also develop diabetes. Folks, our last story revealed just how much salt our fast foods contain and how much eating such a salty diet will lead to hypertension for many. Now, this report reveals women who have hypertension are also at considerable risk for developing diabetes. That salty fast food meal just became even more dangerous, didn't it? Over the past 20 years, with all the efforts to reduce fat and sugar in our foods, many food companies have added extra salt to the low-fat foods and sugar foods in order to keep them to preserve their flavor. But as we are learning, as much salt can do just as much damage as too much sugar or too much fat. You just can't win, can you? For the first time, the Food and Drug Administration is trying to define what foods are gluten-free, and the timing couldn't be better as the sale of products labeled as gluten-free have grown by 18% in just 1 year, as millions of Americans are trying to improve their health by avoiding the protein in grains that causes celiac disease. The new proposal states companies may label foods as gluten-free if they don't contain wheat, barley, rye, or their hybrids, or if they contain fewer than 20 parts per million gluten. The total sale of gluten-free products is expected to exceed $1 billion next year. Folks, this is good news, as fully 3 million Americans have celiac disease. This is a condition where the immune system reacts to a protein in cereal grains called gluten. People with celiac disease who continue to eat gluten have a wide variety of health conditions that may be very serious, including liver disease and severe weight loss, malabsorption of nutrients, which can lead to profound anemia, and a 5 times increased risk of lymphoma. Now, in the past years, celiac patients have had to fend for themselves, eating whatever they could. But in today's world, we have gluten-free breads and gluten-free cereals, along with a wide variety of replacement gluten-free foods. But these commercially available gluten-free foods are not standardized, and they really should be. So this is a step forward. Well, today on Your Health, we want to discuss gluten sensitivity a little further. Yes, some 3 million Americans have celiac disease, but 97% of you don't realize you have the disease. And you're living each day wondering why you feel bad. Well, we want to learn more about that today, but when we return after these important messages, Cindy will be in the kitchen. Got to join us today on Your Health.